then Chief Rodriguez for EMS will talk about the issues that they've been dealing with today. Of course, Chief Kerr will give a report from the fire department. So with that, Chief, let me ask you to come forward.
Thank you, City Manager. As you all know, this morning, the areas that were impacted by this event included Onion Creek and Onion Creek plantations. Those areas are now open and the residents are back in the areas. Currently, we have the Onion Creek Forest area is closed. That's an area near William Cannon and Pleasant Valley. This area will remain closed until at least midnight to vehicular traffic. We are allowing foot traffic into the area, but it will be closed to vehicular area until vehicular traffic until midnight at a minimum, until power is restored, which at this point, Austin Energy has indicated that their target for restoring power to that area is midnight. We still have water in the roadways at Brant and Bluff Springs, on the 5600 block of William Cannon, Onion Creek Road, Katydid Lane, and again, this is generally in the Onion Creek Forest area. Additionally, in that same area, power outages continue, which is south of William Cannon and east of Pleasant Valley Road. Because of the flooding and because of the conditions of the homes and the fact that we want to maintain access and free flow of equipment, emergency equipment and Austin Energy equipment to the area, we are going to keep that roadway, those roadways closed and that area closed to vehicular traffic until power is restored. And the target time right now is midnight. We will continue to provide updates along with our partners at Austin Energy on that. It's important for people to understand that the Austin Police Department is, again, on a tactical alert. We call Alpha Bravo, where all officers are working 12 hours on, 12 hours off. With that said, we will have directed patrol and heavy patrols in all of the impacted areas, which include the areas not only hit by the floods, but the areas that remain without power. We will not tolerate any looting. We will not tolerate people trying to take advantage of their neighbor's plight by trying to come in and steal things that are not there.
Chief, is looting a big concern for you after the floods?
Well, anytime you have a loss of power and you have an extensive damage to an area where you know a lot of folks will be out of their homes, there are some that take advantage of that situation and try to loot. Historically, that has happened. But in this case, we have a significant number of resources that have been redeployed to the affected areas. They will be there until further notice, and I can tell you that we will have zero tolerance for anyone that tries to loot, zero tolerance for anyone that tries to steal, and zero tolerance for anyone that tries to come down and try to commit fraud against our residents. Most importantly, the people of Austin stand together, united, taking care of one another, their neighbors, and their neighborhoods, and so I'm very confident that we'll be able to keep the area safe.
I talked to Chief Kerr just a moment ago about the problem of people driving around barricades. Now, the barricades are there for a reason, right?
You know, sadly, barricades are there for a reason, and sometimes folks think that, the law enforcement or public safety don't know what they're doing. I can do it. I've done it 1,000 times. They don't realize that just 6 inches of water, moving water, can pick up a vehicle and just take it downstream. And sadly, a year or two ago, we had a flooding event where a woman went around a barricade and she ended up losing her life. So whether it's barricades on streets or it's Ladybird Lake is closed, Ladybird Lake is closed for a reason. I actually saw a person out there paddleboard, not understanding that there's a ton of debris, fallen trees, branches, everything flowing at a very rapid rate down that Ladybird Lake. And if they fall down, they're not going to be able to get back up. They're going to strike their heads. And most importantly, not only are they putting themselves at risk, they're putting first responders at risk, and that's just not cool.
Chief Rhoda Kerr, Chief, what would your advice be for people around Austin right now? Because, as you guys have said in the press conference, this is a historic flood event.
I think the advice is that if you are home and you're in an area that was not affected, then please stay home and make it easier on all the demand for services, make it easier on all of us. And if you are living in an impacted area, then please be careful tonight. And some of the things that you can do is to be sure that, if your home is impacted and not really habitable, then go take use of one of the 2 shelters. They're dry. There's food. There'll be services there, and we can help you there. So, and again, just asking everybody out there to be careful and to take care of yourselves and help us help you. And, it is Halloween, and we know that. But again, if you're taking your children out, make sure that you're supervising your children and make sure that you're keeping in a well-lit area.
Excuse me a moment. Chief, when you're finished. Okay, thank you. I'm sorry about that.
That's all right.
I want to kind of just retrospect at 12 hours or so here. Your crews were incredibly busy overnight. My pager was going off like mad. And so can you kind of characterize for me what that night was like for your people and what kind of lessons you'll take away from it, if any?
Well, it's really hard for me to characterize what it was like for them because they're the ones out there in the pouring rain and the thunder and the lightning and in very difficult situations and always, just like all the rest of the first responders, trying to make sure that they're taking really good care of the community. So, I mean, rather than for me to try to characterize it, what I'd like to say is thank you to all those first responders for the fabulous job that they always do.
And one last thing, we hear so often these days, turn around, don't drown. But, I've talked to a few people in the past, 12 hours or so that they've told me at least 1 to 2 of their water rescues were for people who were not heeding those warnings. They even drove around the barricades. Is that a big problem around here?
It is a problem, and that's why we always try to reiterate that and tell people that turn around, don't drown. Even though the sun came out and it's no longer raining, there is still floodwaters, and floodwaters are dangerous. So again, if you see high water, turn around, don't drown.
Thank you, Chief.
You're welcome.